In order for you to enlighten yourself, you must spread light within yourself. This is the Think Successfully room. It's excellent.
Man, welcome back to another episode of the Think Successfully room. This is a platform where we focus on building mindsets, we building character, bringing value to both you and your people, and aligning your body with your intelligence. I'm your host, QB So Effing Amazing, and the Miss Tiffany Ingram. It's nice linking up with you again.
Good to be here.
It's been a while. I think the first time we probably chopped it up was that it might have been 2023, beginning of 2024, somewhere around there.
It's been a minute. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, before we get into, obviously you are in the AI space, right? And you teach, you are a coach in that area, and you teach individuals how to, utilize artificial intelligence in order to boost their business in every aspect possible. Right. So, when it comes to AI, we obviously know there's a good side and then there's a bad side to it. So I just recently, sent you an article, that pretty much talk about, it was talking about how, a pedophile that were using, AI platforms for malicious intent. Right. So what I pulled from those articles is it explains exactly what we already knew. It's like, we know AI is a good tool, but there's also a bad side to it too. So before we get into this article, right, I just want to read, exactly what we're talking about in terms of, AI. So the title was Pedophiles Are Using AI to Turn Children's Social Media Photos into CSAM, or however you will pronounce that. So what that stands for is child sexual abuse material, right? So they're doing that by, let's say, there's a family photo, right, with a child inside of that family photo. What they're doing is they're cutting or taking the child's photo and putting that photo inside of what they would call a Nudifier app. And the AI will analyze the face of that child, but place a new body on that child. Right. So what were your thoughts? Like when I sent you that article, like what was running through your mind when you read, or, when you read that article that I sent?
First of all, I was disgusted. Right. And so,
absolutely.
And you're right. Back in 2023, we had a conversation about, I think I said back then, people really need to understand AI and understand ethically use it. Right. This screams, it's past using something in an unethical, manner. Right. But really what I found to be more disturbing is that the platform itself. So this man took the picture,
exactly,
uploaded it to a platform, and this platform allowed him to do this. So that's where, again, I've had to pivot in my business. Yes, I teach businesses how to use AI ethically and strategically, but I also mandate that they have like guardrails in place. Like, what is your AI security plan? And some of those questions that I have them ask themselves, but not only the person that they're going to partner with or the solution that they're going to partner with, is what is their ethical standards, right? How are they utilizing information? How are they safeguarding it? And so again, this shows a huge gap that we have in this AI space. We're advancing at such a fast rate that we're not able to put in the proper guardrails or protections. And that's scary, right?
It is. It's very scary. I think it's, it's even more terrifying that you can't even take, it's something as going on a family date, going to an amusement park, whatever that may be, not even knowing if it's someone out here who's preying on your children to be able to use the pictures that they're they're taking for situations like this, right? So, regulations has always been the thing with the AI, and I think it's very important for people to educate themselves on the regulation side of the artificial intelligence technology,
and also create those regulations too. So there's a huge difference between Europe and the U.S. Like U.S., it's like we have a few things in place. Europe, they're not playing. They have a whole process. And look, if your solution is high risk, you probably won't be able to monetize it because they're not playing around over there. And we have to get stricter guardrails in place for the U.S. as well, because as we see, this is, they're using it for CS. What was it? I don't want to say the word because I think it'll do something with your algorithm, but it's an acronym. What you just said, right? You're seeing that. You're seeing deep fakes. People are taking people's face and doing all kinds of things with it, right? I recently had a conversation with my family and said, hey, we need a safe word. So in the event anyone ever calls you and says that they've kidnapped me or anything and demanding money, like, you need to ask for that safe word because you're probably getting scammed.
That's actually a good idea. That is an amazing idea. I think every family needs to take that, definitely need to take that measure. So I mean, like, regarding your relatives, or speaking of your family, right? Cause like by you being so big in the AI space, do you, the same way you make it your priority to educate your clients, do you educate your family on the AI technology?
Oh, yes.
As well?
I probably talk about it too much, right? But one thing they will not say out here in these streets is that my family didn't know. My family and my friends, right? They know that I have, not only do I teach them, I fact check some of their stuff. Like if you put something out on social media and you're my friend, I may take a screenshot of it and put it in another tool and say, is this accurate? Like Perplexity. Perplexity is a tool. It's like Google on steroids. And I use it to fact check everything. Because it tells you whether or not that specific thing is accurate, but also it'll tell you or give you the sources that it pulled that information from. So you can go directly to those sources and say, oh, okay, like this is from Forbes or this is from Harvard Review or something like that. And I've told a couple friends like, hey, what you just posted isn't accurate. And they're just like, okay, here come the AI police. I'm just saying. Right.
Yeah. So like, it's called Perplexity.
Yes.
Okay. So is Perplexity the only AI platform that you came across that provides you with the sources that it pulls this information from?
No, I mean, you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask, like Copilot, you can ask for the sources. I just like Perplexity because it's something outside of the program that I like to use all the time. So again, our previous conversation, I'm a ChatGPT person to my heart. Chat Keisha is still my number one Ace Boon Coon employee. And so I don't want to, when someone comes to me and says, hey, how did you truly fact check the information that you like? How do you know what you're putting out is accurate? It's because I'm using two tools. I'm not depending on that one as a sole source of truth, right? So I think that's important. Like you need to have multiple points of, again, is this true, right? So you're using it, you're doing your due diligence to make sure that, hey, you know what, I checked this. Here are the articles that support that. This is why I posted it, right? So. Right.
Okay, so I was asking that because with ChatGPT, obviously ChatGPT is it's like a household name now, right? But I think what people are doing is they're allowing ChatGPT to do all the legwork for them, right? Instead of just using it. And I say this all the time, like AI is an amazing tool, right? But use it as like an assistant to assist you with your work. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like now people are asking ChatGPT, things about whatever that may be. and not really fact checking the things that they're pulling from ChatGPT. So when they go to post it or maybe even talk about it, it comes true that, you know, the information that they were given were false, right? Simply because they wasn't fact checking.
Anytime you use any tool, right? Anything, you have to check it. There should be checks and balances in place, and AI is no different. You know, right. I use a multitude of AI tools, but especially when I get stats, right? Stats or quotes or anything like that, I'm double checking, right? I'm double check. If I don't know something for sure in my heart of hearts, I'm going to check it. And so this is no different. You're getting an answer at the speed of light. You still have to do, you have an ethical part in it too. You need to make sure that you know it's true before you start spreading the gospel, because it might not be the gospel.
Right.
It might be something else. So
I wanted to, you know, I don't want to. So when it comes to that Nudifier, like, cause you are, you know, more knowledgeable than I am as far as the regular, like, what do you feel like the US can do, in terms of getting apps like that under control?
Listen, I always tell people, we don't have to reinvent the wheel when it's already been invented. Right. And as I look at, because I look at different, as I'm starting to reach out to like, different municipalities, I'm looking at the federal laws. I'm looking at the state specific laws, because there are some states that have their own laws regarding AI, right? There's some that have none. Right. And I always compare it to, again, the EU AI Act in Europe, right? If we had something like that, that would control a lot of this stuff, right? Recently over on that side of the world, they basically passed a law that allowed people, so like my face is copywritten, meaning these deep fakes can't use it in these deep fake applications, right? So that puts you know what I mean? So now you can't, or if you do, you're in trouble, right? You can't take my face and then put it on somebody else's body, and somebody's doing something that's illegal, right? So there are laws that we can really put in place, but I think we need to really sit down and define what that should look like. The more I get into the EU AI Act, the more I'm like, we need something like that here, if not this one, because it's really descriptive. It puts a lot of onus on the developers and the platforms that are being created to fit a certain standard. And also the businesses that want to incorporate it, right? You have to make sure you train your people on ethical AI use. And so, you know, I read an article today that said 82% of HR professionals, they're utilizing AI every day at work, but only 30% of those people have received like specific job training on how to use it, right? So you just letting them run wild with ChatGPT in your organization.
Right. So in other words, you're saying there has to be a system with the
there has to.
Yeah. So now I just forgot the EYET Act.
The EU. So it stands for Europe AI Act, but it's EU AI Act. Yeah.
Could you explain that further, more in detail of what? Because I never heard of it.
What I started to notice, so I specialize, like, again, I pivoted. I'm like, okay, I can teach you how to integrate AI solutions into your business. But do you have like an AI policy? Are you telling your employees how they should and can use AI? And a lot of clients are like, no, we don't have that, right? And that should be a foundational point. So as I started looking at and having conversations again with different organizations, I'm like, okay, they need like a security or AI protection framework. Are there frameworks out here? What are we supposed to be doing from a federal standpoint? So I started researching. And again, everyone has their own little, you know, well, you should do this, or this is best practice. But Europe, and I remember when this came out, Europe really sat down and said, look, before we're going to allow any of the organizations or even these developers to sell these specific AI tools, we're going to, or maybe there were a few that were out already. I'm not quite sure on that, but they put together, hey, this is how we're going to operate on this side of the world. So it talks about assigning risk ratings to different AI platforms. And if it's of a highest rating, like at the high level, this is what they have to do. At a medium risk level, this is here's the criteria that you have to be able to check off, or basically say, hey, we pass this specific criteria that you have here before it can even be adopted into an organization, right? There has to be training, right? And also with businesses, there's certain things that they have to do. Like, it's a whole checklist of things. So I think really it made businesses and also the platform developers take a different approach. It wasn't who's going to get first to market, or if it was who's going to get first to market with the ethical solution that'll pass this huge hurdle known as a law before we can even get to the money. And it made the safety the number one priority versus, hey, now we're in $1 trillion industry and we're going to build all these things and think about it later.
That is smart, and I think that's something that this country lacks. That actually is very smart as far as if we just imagine like all the so it's this. You might have told me about this platform, Futurepedia.
Did I?
You might have. Somebody told me about Futurepedia. I feel like I can't remember. Well, I mean, but you know what Futurepedia is, though. I'm trying
to think. Now, I don't know every AI tool.
Oh, okay. Because somebody told me about, so with Futurepedia, it was like a directory for AI platforms, right? So literally, like, you could type in whatever it is you was looking for, productivity, creativity, whatever it is, and then it will provide you a list of different platforms. So it would actually be pretty dope if, there was a risk rating attached to every one of those those apps, and then letting you know the risk and the outcomes and the possibilities, and really giving you the option on whether or not you wanted to continue to utilize that platform, right? So now it's like in this country we stay in, you never know what you getting yourself into, regards of the different tools that you come across.
Exactly. And you have to ask the question. So now really in the US, the onus is on the company that's inviting this solution in, right? And this is what I tell leaders, and even leaders that say, hey, you know what? I don't want to bring AI into my business. Well, you better tell your employees, because I'm quite sure they're using it. And I'm quite sure they put proprietary information into ChatGPT. And if you're not careful with these updates, so even with ChatGPT, recently I went to my settings and I had to switch off that I didn't want the language model to be able to train on any information that I put in there, right? I had to opt out of that because it was automatically checked. So if you don't know that even the tools that you're comfortable with, when there's an update, if you don't know, hey, how is my information still being protected, right? You have to check that. And I wouldn't have known had, again, I not been connected to the group of AI consultants that, hey, did you know ChatGPT did an upgrade and now it can just train on your information unless you go in and opt out? No, I didn't know that. Right. You have to stay next to, again, really close to any AI solution that you bring into your organization and understand the changes, the upgrades, and how that's going to impact your employees and your customers too.
So this is what this is why it's on my mental. So obviously, like, the technology that's evolving, and in the time that we stay in now, it can be difficult to keep up with, right? So what is some resources or maybe some tools that you use to help you stay on top of the evolution of artificial intelligence?
So I'm using AI to stay on top of AI. So I actually asked ChatGPT basically to give me updates regarding, so let's just say I wanted to know about updates as it pertains to AI security. I told ChatGPT every morning before or at 7 a.m., I would like to know what's going on in the artificial intelligence security or governance space. Please provide me with every article every day. So that's a way for me, and it's delivered every day, 7 o'clock. Any article that comes out, I see it. I'll also go to Perplexity and I'll say, hey, what's some of the challenges or some of the AI news that's occurred today? And I'll put the date in there. It'll give me the AI news, right? And so those are two things, because what I do tell people, I'm like, find one tool that works well for you, because there's a million other. When you talked about Futurepedia, I thought about so I get a newsletter, and there's a solution that's called, is there an AI for that? And so it sends me newsletters about upcoming AI platforms that are just been released, that are in development. And it's the same thing as Futurepedia. So it's like, you have to find the tool that works best for you and stick with that one, because there are 20 million other ones that are being released, right? And if you try to follow all of them, then you're going to be overwhelmed.
At that end, it's hard to master 100 different tools, right? Like, I believe that whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whether that's productivity, scheduling, creativity, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, there's an app for everything, right? So that is excellent advice, right? Just find an app for a certain area, master that app and stick to it, right? Because then you can really see real potential in your workflow. You tend to slow things down when you try to master this tool, and then you wanna figure out this tool as well, right? Get you a list of, what would you say, maybe 5-6 different tools? Get you a list of 5-6 different tools, maybe whatever that number would be. Master those tools and then stick with
And
it.
I would say, look at your pain points. Like, what are you trying to solve? Be very strategic, right? There's an AI tool for everything out here, almost. And so I always tell people, build your tech stack, but build it strategically. I know for me, I need ChatGPT. I need Perplexity to fact check. I need Gamma AI to create PowerPoint presentations. I use Notion, right? And I use, there's an AI detection software, because you can tell an AI prompt when you see one. You can tell an AI caption when you see one. It's real emoji heavy and it sounds real robotic. And so I use that tool to basically tell me if it sounds like it's AI, it's an AI detection tool, or does it sound human?
That you said that's what Notion do?
Brandwell, is it Brandwell.ai is the AI detection tool. I'm getting into Notion and using it as like a project management software, because I have a lot of projects and stuff that I'm working on. So I'm getting into, like, I'm learning how to utilize that for that. I also use it as a repository, meaning if I find prompts that I want to make sure that I keep, and maybe give to my clients, that's one place that I can direct them to and give them access to the information on that sheet, right? So again, I have 5 tools that I live by. Oh, and I use Canva. Canva don't count, but
that's Canva the GOAT. Yeah, Canva the GOAT.
So you just have to be clear on what problem you're trying to solve. You find the technology that works well with each other and works well with you, and then you go on about your business. Like, you can't use every tool. It has to make sense. You control the tool.
Facts.
The tool doesn't control you.
That is a fact, right? And that's an easy recipe for being overwhelmed, is trying to learn 100 different things. Like, I just don't think your brain is set up to like, I guess, embrace that amount of technology, right? You have to find something and stick to it. So now that I want to ask this based off what you just said, right? So you said you got a total of 5 tools that you have mastered. It makes sense to you and you stick with them. Do you teach your clients to I guess research and find what works for them, or do you tell them, do you just give them your your tools that you utilize and tell them to stick with those tools?
So some people say I overteach. I want to teach you how to do it, right? Like a story of, hey,
absolutely.
If I teach you how to fish, you'll always know how to fish, right? And you can even tell me, hey, you know what, because I want my solutions for my clients are very customized. It's not a cookie cutter approach with me. I'm going to come in, understand where you are, where you're trying to go, and build something that can scale along with you and your business, right? So I want to show you how I did it. If you find a better way, fine. But I want to show you and be transparent about how I arrived at the place that I arrived, because I noticed something that helps me build trust with them. Right? Not holding the, like you can't, everybody has their own secret sauce. And so I'm not going to hold, oh, this is just how I do it. No, this is what I did. This is how I identified where you are. Based upon this, here are the tools that I'm recommending and why. Right? So I'm going to teach you. Now, a lot of people though, when you pay for something, like a lot of people know how to make a cheeseburger, but I don't have time. I don't have time to make a cheeseburger. Right? Your cheeseburger might be better. Yeah. So guess what? Right. I'm paying to have my time back. Right. I just want to instill trust with you, so you know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not one of these overnight AI consultants that's popping up all over the place.
Right. No, you doing it the right way, and that's what I admire, because you don't run into a lot of individuals that's educating people on AI and how to implement the technology the correct way, but also saying like, hey, like even though this is a useful tool, you also have to be aware of this as well. Right. So that's what I admire about your expertise and what you got going on. So it's something I read inside of a magazine. It was an artificial intelligence magazine that I picked up from Barnes and Nobles. I got it wrote down. So your imagination plus technology equals a masterpiece, right? So that's like, I live by that, and that means a lot, because like for Midjourney, for example, like Midjourney was so intriguing to me, because it was like everybody isn't an artist where they can just sit here and have the talent to draw exactly what they're picturing. You know what I'm saying? But Midjourney made it to where you can think about the craziest shit and explain it in detail to Midjourney, and 9 times out of 10 it's gonna create an image of something exactly how you was picturing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was amazing about Midjourney. So that's like, I think Midjourney is one you got to put in the arsenal.
And I think I talked about this the last time. Like, I use Midjourney to create a coloring book that I sell on Amazon, right? There are people that are now using ChatGPT along with, is it Google Geo? There is a video making software that's kind of similar to Midjourney, and they're making whole movies. Right? They are making entire movies with like a paragraph or prompt, right? So we are really, again, we're expanding our reach. I've been able to do so many things this year, just with the help of ChatGPT. But again, I control the tool. There are things that Keisha will recommend. I'm like, Keisha, like, that's not our thing, right? It's like, okay, I got you, sis. Like, she calling me sis now and everything. But it's like, you control the tool. So again, we can do a lot more with artificial intelligence, but so can criminals, so can people that are scamming, so can.
And that's the big one. And one thing I know about a criminal, them some smart, like, that's one thing I'm gonna say about a criminal. Them motherfuckers are smart. You know what I'm saying? So it's some shit they do where you be like, damn, how they come up with that. But one thing I want to throw in there, right, before we close out, is going back to the pedophile situation, right? So the second article I sent you was explaining about a pedophile in Disney World, Disneyland, and he was actually out there with a GoPro taking pictures of kids and taking those pictures off the GoPro and importing them into the Nudifier app, right? So what I want to explain to parents is, or people even, right, is that it is guys like very, very like evil guys like that explores the face of the earth that we stay on, right? So when you are in settings like that, it's very important for you to be aware of your surroundings and look at things like that may seem suspicious. Because I think it's fair to say, if I'm out with my son and I see a nigga over here in the bushes or on the beach, the benches, whatever, and he got a camera doing, you know what I'm saying, just snapping. That's something to be suspicious about, to be aware about, right? So I would just say to parents, like shit like this does exist, and you just want to be more aware of your surroundings, because it's apps out here that allow them to do just harmful things with the pictures that they capture in these type of environments.
And be mindful too, it's not just cameras like this. Like, we have glasses now. You could wear glasses and you filming people.
The meta joints with the camera on it, like the meta joints, you probably don't even know that he filming you.
So you just have to be, so again, to your point, being very, very vigilant as parents, and these app developers, you guys need to be thinking about, how can you put the proper guardrails in place so people are not able to do these things? Like, shouldn't have never happened, right? It should have been, hey, you're putting these two things together, our app cuts off. Like, no, your account is banned now, right?
Yeah. Or even an app called Nudifier is crazy to me. Like, that's insane.
Insane. So again, government, why are we allowing apps like this to be in production or even being able to be monetized, right? So there's a lot of things at the government level, at the developer level, at the actual user level. There needs to be certain guardrails in place. But we have a long way to go.
Absolutely. So Tiff, is there some you like, based off our conversation, right? Because it's always a natural flow with us, right? And that's important for every episode, right? It's to sound natural, not scripted. Because I could tell you everything I done said, that shit was just me listening. That was me having being able to have detail or take detail from what you were saying, and then just being able to follow up with that. So based off the conversation we had, is there anything you want to add before we close out?
No, I think, again, everything you said, the article kind of set the tone. People listen, whether or not, whatever you personally feel, however you personally feel about AI, that is your right. I get it. But it is here and it's not going anywhere. And you have to understand how it's going to impact you at work and also in your personal life, right? I had somebody get scammed that I know, like an older family member. They got scammed out of some money, and luckily they were able to get it back. But that's happening all the time, and they're preying on the older generation. So folks, educate your grandparents, your parents, get that safe word in place, and understand how AI is not only disrupting your work life, but also your personal life.
And cannot stress that enough. That is very important. You know what I'm saying? That is extremely important. Tiff, appreciate you. As always, appreciate you. So but like, back to what we talked about, we gonna make this a normal, like man, you might hit me up like, Q, I came across this fire AI technology. Let's hop on and talk about it, and we gonna get it done.
There is one that I want you to put on the docket. I just posted about it. So China just basically stated, effective September 1, that all of their kids starting at age 6 will be learning about AI.
That is that deserves a standing ovation. I like so that deserves a standing ovation. No, we do need to talk, because it's like if you not, oh my God, look, we gonna say that for a whole nother episode. We ain't even gonna get into that. We'll fuck around and be on here for a whole nother hour. We gonna say that one. That's a fire topic right there. Hell yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out before we go into some type of life is good, y'all. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens, to the guys and goddess, forever and always. Think successfully. It's excellent.